Well, in Pache's after we traded Beerling, we've always been looking for a situation where we could come up with somebody with a right-handed bat that was also outstanding defensively. So, not necessarily right now. The big key is that we know he's an outstanding defensive center fielder, defensive outfielder. He hasn't played much of the corner. So for us, he's a real good complement to what we have with our ball club. So we've been looking for this type of guy. Waiting to the end. We know we have some fallback guys in the organization, which had really nice springs. But also, and I don't want to make any announcement on moves and all that at this point, but it's a situation where we also have some of those guys that we know can go play, but people who's going to play. So in Pache case, we just think he is really, really a good defensive center fielder. And I mean, if anybody's in a position, he has struggled offensively in his career. But if anybody has a club that can hopefully help him, being receptive to it, it's us with Kevin Long, because he's an outstanding. So that's why even if he doesn't hit a lot, we just think he's a help for us because of the defense that he plays with our club.
Did you guys consult Kevin? Did you say, hey, like, what do you think before making?
No, not really on this one. I mean, we had known we were going to make some of our staff members knew, but really in this case it was more the defense that outweighed more than anything. Kind of reminds me a little bit of when we acquired Sosa, at that time. Again, we thought that the defense, now Kevin's had a chance to look at his videos afterwards, and yesterday gave him a heads up, was a situation where the defense is so good, hopefully we can help the offense.
Are you optimistic that Kevin can have the same impact on Pache that he had on, obviously with Sosa, he unlocked something?
Well, we'll see. I don't really, yes, I mean, but if anybody can do it, he's the guy that can. He has struggled a lot offensively at the big league level, but I know he's a hard worker from all indication. He does have tools. He has bat speed. He has, he's got power. So yeah, we're hopeful, but I don't want to put too much on Kevin in that sense. But we think that he can help him. Yes.
You all had a really active off season, and I was wondering, from your experience, can that send a message to the players, that you're serious about returning to play out? You know what I mean? Does it send?
Well, I don't know that we needed to send them a message, because I think that they know that we're serious. Last year with what we did at the trading deadline, what John Middleton has allowed us to do over the last couple of years, and really going back a few years when we started having people like Bryce Harper to your club and Zach Wheeler to your club. So ownership support's been there all along. So, but I think it shows them that we're continuing to strive to get better and to try to win the whole championship. But I don't think that would surprise them or they need motivation.
Do you see Sosa as someone who could be productive with more time? Because it's possible he ends up, you're going to have one or two of your bench guys out there every day the way it is now. See someone you look at with some upside, with some everyday time?
We like him a lot. I think he has a chance to be an everyday player. And probably if we wouldn't have signed Trey Turner, he probably would be an everyday player for us at shortstop. But we've talked a lot about him, and over 162 game season, things happen. He'll play a lot. He can play a lot of different positions well. His offense continues to improve. But we look at him as having everyday player capabilities. And I know Top will use him a bunch and get him in there.
And for Suarez, what's your timeline in your mind for him right now?
Well, I don't have an exact timeline. He's doing well. He's going to throw out to increase his distance again. He threw hard yesterday up to 90 feet. Today he's supposed to go to 120. So once that happens, you start getting out on the mound and throwing. So it won't be 2 weeks, because I think originally we had hoped April 15th, but it's going to have to be longer than that, because we want to be careful, taking our time. And it's also a situation where we don't want him to come back and just pitch 2 innings, for example. So we're going to try to lengthen him out a little bit and minor on rehab before we get to that.
Does he essentially have to start from scratch for spring training, or no?
No, we're not that far starting from scratch.
In all your experience, like this time of year, where teams are putting together their opening day rosters and their final touches, and guys end up options, out of options, whatever it is it more difficult to find pitching at this time of year than it is, let's say, a position guy to fill in a spot here and there? In your experience, how does pitching availability?
Well, I just don't think there's a lot of pitching, period. I mean, I think everywhere you look, people are calling us still for pitching, so I can't say that. even when we're down like this. So it's just one of those things that it's just that you never have enough pitching. I think when you're coming out of the spring, you can see there's a lot of clubs that have guys that are down. I mean, this club, somebody just told me you'll see DeGrom for 4 innings today. You won't see any more than that. So it just shows you that people are dealing with that depth aspect. Now they've dealt with it by keeping a couple of guys that can pitch long. But I think it's just the way the game is nowadays. That you just don't have enough starting pitching. We don't lengthen the guys out like we used to. I saw Scherzer threw it was 118 pitches in spring training. It was like the talk of everybody because we just don't see that anymore. So no, I think that's just where we are. I think it's very hard to find that type of pitching.
And who will your starters be at AAA? Do you know? Off the top of your head?
Glassmeyer's starting opening day.
Is MacArthur going to be
MacArthur's in the
still?
starting rotation.
You picked up a guy from the Rock,
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to AA or AAA. We also got a guy from Toronto. So I'm not sure exactly who else we're going to be in a position that's going to start.
Do you get excited the night before opening day to see the players you've acquired play for the first time?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I could have butterflies just like everybody else, no matter how many years you're in it. I think that's the natural opening day butterflies. It'd be just like if you're talking about the postseason. You always get those butterflies. It's a fun part of the game. I think also, too, in spring training, this year is a little bit different with the WBC. It's just nice. It's always hard at the end. When you get to the end of spring training, you want to get going. And that's one of the things that's wonderful about our game, I find, is that you can't wait to get to spring training. But just about when you're at that point, you can't wait to get the season started. So our game works that way. So yeah, the butterflies are there, the anxiousness is there, and you get everybody together as a club.
Obviously, there's going to be injuries every year, and last year you had them in September with Wheeler and Bryce. Is there a silver lining to maybe seeing your depth right out of the gate here, getting a guy like Jake Cave some opportunities and knowing what you have as the year goes on?
Well, I don't know that you ever want to have injuries. Hopefully you're deep enough that you can help cover them. I think it gave Cave an opportunity to really show us. We picked him up last year. We've seen him. He's been around, quite a few years. I've always liked Jake Cave, and then he's been hurt a couple of years. Not quite 100%. I think being in the situation here, Kevin Long has helped with our hitting people. He's been fantastic this spring. So, I mean, it's kind of up to them then to take the ball and run with it. Somebody said to me, well, what happens if we get Bryce back and do this? I said, we'll worry about those things when they happen. So hopefully he'll take it and have a chance to run with it. The same thing with Derek Hall, for example. We think Derek Hall is ready to step up and run with the opportunity. So we don't like to see injuries happen, but other people have to be prepared. And I think good clubs have depth that they can handle situations with injuries.
What is the best case scenario for Bryce these days? And at the time, when did the timeline maybe change off season?
Well, we don't. It hasn't changed. So we just continue to be hopeful. I think the good part of it is that everything so far has been positive with his rehab is concerned. He feels good. The doctors, when they checked him out, said they felt good about it. So everything continues to progress. So that's positive. I think the only thing. I'm not sure how we would have changed it, but I thought, as I said, by not putting him on the 60-day list, it keeps the options open, because that's not till May 29, so it keeps it open. But we'll see what happens.
Did Marchand have something worse happen? Or, because I know he had the hamate issue, but did you guys put him on the 60?
Well, he had it removed for hamate.
He had
A couple days ago.
What's the timeline on that?
7-8 weeks. So yeah, so it's just a natural for him to go on 60. Yeah, he had they actually found, they didn't see it at first, kept bothering them. They continued to look at it, and they took an MRI again, and they found there was a crack there, so they had to do surgery. It was the day we were getting ready to leave, so it was Monday or Tuesday.
I feel pretty good about Garcia and Hicks.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. If you have any chance with us, they are depth, and we like them.
What was your reaction when the Rangers signed Jacob DeGrom, and maybe some of the reaction around the league?
Well, my initial reaction was that I'm glad he's not in our division. So, but then we get a chance to see him opening day, so he didn't go very far. So that's really, I mean, he's a great pitcher. We know that. When he's out on the mound, he's as good as anybody in the game. So I'm not really thrilled to be facing him opening day, but I guess you're going to, at some point when you play all the clubs in baseball, you got a chance to face him. So.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks.